Hello, I'm here today to go over your digital notebook on microscopes, which is today's assignment. So as you can see, slide one, that's kind of just our intro slide, but you're going to be going into talking about the microscope parts, the microscope functions, some questions, and then some practice and fun activities at the end of this activity. So you'll be given the full class period today to work on it. So if you are absent or on quarantine, you probably need about 40 minutes to complete this activity for today. So the first or the second slide, that is the first slide you're going to be working on. It says learning goal. I can identify the parts of the microscope. I can demonstrate proper use of the microscope and focus specimens. So where it says click to type, you're going to tell me why we use microscopes or what is the value or the lesson in using microscopes here in science class. So I'm looking for at least a sentence. And then you have the do's and don'ts. I'm looking for at least, three concrete examples of what you do you do use with a microscope, and then the don'ts that things that you should not do when using a microscope. So please be specific. We actually went into this in great detail under yesterday's lesson. Slide number 3 is all drag and drop. As it says, directions: move the boxes of the respective parts of the microscope or type in the answers based on the word choice. So you can either kind of name them from the word bank, or you can drag and drop them as an option. Does not matter to me. Whatever you prefer is fine with me. Okay, so you have a total of 14 identification parts of the microscope and the 14 things you have to, identify. Slide number 4 is everything is color coordinated. So for example, if you get to, and it says hold slide in place, you're like, I don't really know where that is. Go back to slide 3. And you could see that I was looking at purple here. And then if you go back to slide 3, you realize that that's the stage clip. So what part of the microscope is responsible for holding the slide in place? Well, that's the stage clip. So then you can move it down to stage clip. So that should be an easy way for you to kind of check your microscope, and you can compare it to slide number 3 to make sure when you're finished, you have all of the correct answers. Don't forget, there's a little box down here that asks you to identify what is the formula for total magnification when we look at and use our microscopes. Slide number 5 is some questions. Most of them, if you look off to the side, I kind of gave you an either or. So choose which word choice best fits for the fill in the blank question. So for example, it says, when focusing on a specimen, you should always start with the blank objective. So is it low power or high power? So you're going to type in your answer right there. And then so on and so forth for those 6. For number 4 and for number 6, it's kind of a calculation, and those 2 answers are kind of can be used interchangeably. So what 2 parts can you hold the microscope by? I love slide number 6. You're going to look at the first column and the second column. And if you look right off the bat, something should be very obvious to you. And that's that the left column is not focused and the right column is focused. So what you're going to do is you're going to try and make observations from the non-focused column and then comparison to the focused column. Okay. You can identify the color, the shape, the size, the location, how many cells you see. These are actually cheek cells. So that's what you're going to do in comparison. You're writing down a couple pieces of evidence or pieces of data that you can see through those microscopes. Okay. Slide number 7 and slide number 8, they're all reflective questions, and they should be written as a complete sentence. So why do scientists use microscopes? What did you notice about your images as you increased in magnification? Why should you always begin to use a microscope with the low power objective? So on and so forth. So they're your questions. Now, the last part, which can kind of take you anywhere from, if you have extra time, 10 minutes to 20 minutes to 5 minutes, right? So it's kind of depending on however much time you have left over. There's a virtual microscope lab that you can look at. I love these resources, which I'm going to open up for you guys. This is practice naming the parts of the microscope. That's your first one. Here's a practice microscope quiz, which kind of goes through kind of a lot of multiple choice questions about what you should use and when you should use it and which image represents which part. This one is kind of a introduction to the different parts of the microscope and how to magnify and how to focus your specimen. So it kind of gives you a good overview as to how to use them. There's another labeling game, which is right here on the parts of the microscope. You have a brain pop on microscopes, which is a video, and then my favorite, the virtual slides. So what you can actually do is you can use this website and click on virtual slide list. and then you scroll down and you can actually look. See, here's blood and bone marrow. And then you can look at whatever specimen you want, cardiovascular system, excuse me, cartilage, bone, and bone development, right? There's lots of them. See, there's lots of pages. So like if there's something specific or a certain category you want to look at, you want to look at the eye. So it will jump to the eye, and then you can look at the eyeball underneath. There you go, underneath the microscope, right? So you have a lot of options, a lot of cool things are found there. It just kind of takes you a minute to kind of go through and look. But that's the choice. You have some kind of freedom time at the end to kind of play with these slides or look at these slides or practice parts of the microscope, giving you some choice in the matter. And that's that's slide number 9 with the links. And then slide number 10, you're just going to tell me what you chose. What activity did you choose? What did you do in that activity? And what skill did you practice? So a really great activity for today on our digital notebook. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Your teachers would love to help. Thank you.